We're doing something so exciting. Let's like bring it to national TV. We did 5 lakh in sales after discounting and everything, right? Like 2 CR offer from Piyush and went for the 50 lakhs offer from Anupam. We are seeing almost a 4x jump right after. Like, I would recommend this to everybody who makes it to the shoot. Then always carry an extra jacket. I could feel that Anupam was somebody who understood what I'm building. Audience is anybody who's a supplement user and is looking for a cleaner alternative. Insulin patches, there's hormone patches. When we talk to doctors, it's the easiest sell that we have. Our ingredients are 100% clinical. I come from a service family, right? Like I did not have a lot of dollars to fall back on. I think subscription specifically we are not moving towards, rather we are keeping larger pack sizes.
Hi
Okay.
everyone, welcome to a new episode of Growthcast. Today I have with me Radhika, who is founder of Patchup, and today we are going to discuss about her journey at Shark Tank and what are some of the exciting things that she is going to do in 2025. So Radhika, welcome to Growthcast.
Thanks a lot, Shashank.
So first of all, I'd like to understand when you decided that you need to apply for Shark Tank and how you went ahead with your application.
That's an interesting question because it was actually not me who initiated it. It was two of my team members who were like, you know what, we are doing something so exciting. Let's like bring it to national TV. That's the thought that they had. We launched in August of 2024, so towards the end of July.
Right,
And the application, I think it was a bit above time, or as an overtime to when you had to apply, or something around that, or it was a deadline. So last literally 1 month after the launch is basically when we applied for Shark Tank. And relatively very early if you compare to some of the other brands and
right,
even some of our other competitors who have come in, right? However, we had already started seeing very good traction in the first month of launch. And we were like, you know what? The thing is that we are on to something. Might as well go ahead and see if we, how you apply for a job sometimes,
right.
an aspirational job, and you don't always think that it's going to happen. So you kind of apply कि ठीक है देखते हैं interview process शुरू होएगा तो we'll at
Right,
least get to see something. So that was basically how our thought went. Made the application. I remember, basically we waited for around 3 or 4 weeks before we heard back whether we have even crossed the first round or not.
right,
When we got that email, super excited. But then from there on was the second task, which was of us. So first round is basically you giving a lot of information out, right?
right,
Wherein you fill in a form, you're talking about your experience and how the company has been growing, who is in the team, etc., etc. Second round is a bit more of that, plus a video that you basically, the pitch that you see in the beginning
right,
is in a way your own version of it. You're trying to send just as a recording. So once that is cleared, is when you go to the audition.
right.
The audition basically is an in-person thing, wherein they're trying to interview you, as as a typical interview process would go. The only difference is instead of sitting, you're standing.
Right.
You're literally presenting the way you would on the tank, and then yeah, finally is the the actual shoot.
So you talked about that you went ahead with your application. So during this period, the day you applied to Shark Tank India, so finally you getting on stage, what's the time duration between these two periods?
Around 2 months. Although
Got it.
we were a part of the first batch also. That was, as in the shooting happened, because obviously there are multiple companies, so not all shooting can happen in one go. So we were a part of the first batch that got, shot.
Got it. Got it. And what are some of the backstage secrets that you'd like to share with the audience regarding Shark Tank India?
Um, so first of all, it's very cold. So, I would recommend this to everybody who makes it to the shoot. Then always carry an extra jacket. I was coming from Delhi and I was going to Mumbai. I was like, I don't need any jackets, and it was September. But then turns out that I had to borrow from fellow contestants because there was
Literally chilled out
it was
there.
so. But that's like jokes apart. I think one thing that is not, it's a very long shoot, right? Like
Right.
so. you're in front of the sharks for about an hour, hour and a half, depending on how the pitch is going. So, and then obviously, ultimately, you just see 20 minutes or like a very short version of it.
Right.
Obviously, it can't go on for that long. So, that's one thing. And yeah, the first time that you meet the sharks is also in the tank. So it's not like you wait to meet them before or something like that, or even talk about your idea in any way, right? Like it's when you enter is your moment, and it's all shot in one go. There are no cuts, nothing like that. Just you enter it, and you're separated from the rest of the world, and you're just talking to the sharks, and that's it.
So is that a fangirl kind of moment for you when you go there and you see these sharks in person because you have been seeing them on TV for three, 4 years
100%.
now at Shark Tank India? Yeah.
And moreover, I the froze. Like what was not shown is that like when I went in, it took me a moment to actually internalize the moment and to internalize the set and everything. It's like it's larger than life in a way.
Right.
so so it takes you a moment to just to take it all in, and then obviously present your business in the best way possible.
I think you did a splendid job with your pitch. So I'd like to talk about Patch Up. What is the value proposition that the product has, and what is your target audience, or which is the target segment of the audience that you aim to
Yeah.
cater to? Yeah.
See, our target audience and the value proposition, basically any single person who understands or rather takes supplements and hence understands the need of not having additives that come with the supplements that we are having, right? Like, I think one of the main concerns in the supplements market at this point, in my opinion, is that there are a bunch of additives, and has come up for gummies quite a bit, right? Like, in the sense that people are now aware that, okay, there's sugar in them. There are other things that you probably don't need to make it in the form factor that it is, right? There is a lot of awareness there, and I feel that this is something people are getting aware about the fact that there is not just vitamins and minerals in their pills. Even there's a lot more. So our target audience is anybody who's a supplement user and is looking for a cleaner alternative, zero additive, better absorption, consistent delivery. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Got it, got it. And I'd like to zoom out and talk to you about why do you feel that there is so much vitamin deficiency in India? Like if I take my test, I'm always vitamin D deficient. It's always in the range of 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah.
So why you feel that we Indians always have a deficiency of vitamins? What is the one thing that basically impacts that?
Yeah. So see, with vitamin D, it's a very specific thing, right? Like we have to get exposure at a certain hour during the day, and that to 80 to 90% of your body and skin should be exposed, which becomes very difficult, right? Like
Right,
everybody has different lifestyles. In winters, how do you go out with like 80% of your body being exposed, right? So
right,
the thing is that skin needs to be exposed to the sun at a certain hour for us to actually absorb it. And vitamin D is one of those vitamins that's also very rarely found in food
right,
and in smaller quantities, right?
right,
So automatically it becomes very difficult to absorb it. So this is like the problem with vitamin D. However, when it comes to Indians, as you mentioned, right, we a lot of times have a vegetarian diet. Right
right,
now, a vegetarian diet, B12 once again becomes a very difficult vitamin to consume in a vegetarian diet unless you focus a lot on having nuts on a daily basis and things like that.
mhm,
So hence, I feel that there is a growing need for supplementation, especially amongst young Indians. And when I say young Indians, the reason is, even our food, the quality and the nutrients that are there in the food, like there's a bunch of research that is coming out on this one,
right,
that they don't even have those vitamins and minerals that they used to have a few decades back, right? So it becomes all the more difficult to consume it through your diet. Because I personally, my journey has been that I was always like, okay, I need to figure out what are the things that I need, and I need to figure out what are the foods that would probably give it to me. I would
right,
try that on a very regular basis, but I still would come deficient in most of the things. And this is
right.
when I understood that, like, it's just not going to happen. I have to take supplements. And that's how my journey personally also towards supplements started.
Got it. And do you feel that through our eating habits, this can be solved, or maybe supplements is a good way to solve for this deficiency? Because you talked about nuts, I think वो affordability रह नहीं जाती if we talk about
That's also true.
larger strata of the society. So
Yeah.
Can food habits solve for it? Do you feel so?
They could have, but with certain vitamins, no.
Right.
With certain vitamins, as I said, like it's very difficult already to find them in your food. The other aspect is the quality of food, which is going down, and hence it becomes difficult. However, if somebody has this as a focus and can get ingredients like that are organic and like on a regular basis, have it very consciously in mind, then it's possible. But then having that amount of greens etc on a daily basis, when we have such lifestyles have also changed, right? Like we don't necessarily come back home at a decent hour to cook our own food a lot of times, right? Like we end up ordering a lot so many times. That's why the Swiggies and the Zomatos of the world are growing like anything, right? Because
Right.
it becomes very difficult, and unless you're cooking on your own, have you bringing in those ingredients, you know where the ingredients are coming from. It's a thing that you have to really puppet to make it happen.
Yeah, plus I think that on a daily basis, as you rightly told, with lifestyle, it's very difficult कि आप
Yeah.
इतना ज़्यादा inculcate कर पाओगे good eating habits because some way or other वो थोड़ा सा divert होता ही रहता है. And talking about the idea, you spoke about it during the your episode at Tank as well कि this was a personal journey that you started and उसके बाद ये idea आया. But if I talk about cold start problem, how you solve for it कि initial maybe 100 customers or 1000 customers, how you reach them, वो उसके पीछे की story क्या है?
Which is interesting because, like, in the first month, we did 5 lakh in sales after discounting and everything, right? Like, that was the first month of our launch.
Right.
The way we reached the customers was through mainly through social media, right? That was our main channel. Even now, we are mostly an online brand.
Right.
Only in one store, actually, across India is where you will find patch up products offline. So um, social media was the way to go, and I feel that what worked for us was putting out a lot of information. See, we
Right.
are bringing in a new delivery format altogether, right? A lot of people don't even know about nicotine patches, which is a very proven method of delivering substances through your skin, right?
Right.
So for us to educate is very important. For us to communicate to consumers how it works, why it works, is also very important. And I feel that it became a journey that was not as difficult because we from day zero had in mind that we have to be an information heavy company, right? We
Right.
have to put it out there exactly how it is and what it is. So I feel that first 100, 200,000 customer journey was a bit like this, wherein we were targeting information going out there on social media.
Got it. And how has the reach transformed post your episode aired on Shark Tank? Do you see a huge uplift Shark Tank India में telecast होने के बाद से?
Yeah, of course. We are seeing almost a 4x jump right after. So it's um, it's a very it is a platform, that like lets you represent your brand, which is a very rare thing, right? To the entire Indian market. So I feel that gave us a good platform very early on in our journey. But at the same time, the growth has been, we are happy and we have been able to sustain it till now. So
हाँ, I think that is much more important,
yeah,
sustaining the growth. But if you
correct.
look at your pitch, like जैसे एग्जाम देते हैं लगता है यार ये क्वेश्चन बेटर हो सकता था. There are some instances जहाँ पे you felt कि ये थोड़ा सा और better हो सकता था.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of it I did not even remember, like
हम्म.
till it actually came into the came on Sony Live. So I feel that that entire conversation with Namita, right,
Right.
wherein we were talking about clinical trials and we were talking about how we address the efficacy question around patches, right?
Right.
So for us, I feel that what I should have talked about a bit more is one, how the ingredients that we use,
Right.
right? They're all clinically proven. So, for
Right.
example, Lean Up has apple cider vinegar. Again,
Mhm.
a lot of research that exists on how apple cider vinegar helps with your gut health as well.
Right.
Then let's talk about again vitamin B complex that is there in Lean Up. Again, something that's you need because of what I said, right? But B12 most B complex is one of the main ingredients, by the way, that helps with digestion, etc. So again,
Right.
something very important that like you is again clinically proven, right? So one thing is that our ingredients are 100% clinically proven. Second thing is that the delivery format in itself
Right.
has been proven. So what I mean by that is patches. I mentioned it briefly before as well, right? Nicotine patches, for example. There's insulin patches. There's hormone patches. When we talk to doctors, it's the easiest sell that we have. They are like, yes, we want to use the product. Why? Because they understand that in the pharmaceutical world,
Right.
patches as a format has been there for a few decades now. And there
Right.
is a lot of research proving proof points that are available on it. So I think that this is one thing that I would I don't even remember if I did say, and it was not in it did not make it from the 1.5 hours to 20-minute cut. But that's something that I wish was also part of, the pitch.
But and you got very enticing offers, like Piyush offered you a very enticing deal. So what was the framework that was going on back in your mind? Because you also come from a management consulting background, so you
Yeah.
might have gone with your partner number. So what
Yeah.
was the framework behind choosing the offer?
So, see, for me, I mean, if you saw the way the pitch went, right? Like, I could feel that Anupam was somebody who understood what I'm building, right?
Right.
See, Piyush has done a mammoth task in terms of category building altogether, right? Lenscart, great job there, right? So I understand the value that he brings. However, at the same time, I also had very actively in mind that I want, patch up when I build it, I'm building it with a lot of passion, right? It's
Right.
coming from my own personal journey. It has a mission that I really wanted to achieve, and I felt that a shark who bought into the passion would basically help me build the startup in the same way as I also would want to build it. Right. So
Right.
our growth plans, our vision would align a lot more, is what I felt. And hence I rejected the 2 CR offer from Piyush and went for the 50 lakhs offer from Anupam, because it was not as I said there, it was not just about the money. It was
Right.
a lot about what they also believe in when they see Patch Up. Do they see
Right.
just a Patches brand, or do they see a brand that's actually building clean supplements, bringing clean supplements to the Indian market?
Yeah, and talking about growth, like very well pointed out, ki haan, maybe going with someone who has great synergy with the way you are thinking. But if I shift gears and talk about growth, do you see the role of quick commerce? How do you see the role of basically quick commerce impacting this category? Do you feel that supplements as a category will also be something that people will be impulse buying going forward, and that is the one platform that you definitely need to crack?
It's not only impulse buying with quick commerce, I feel. Like, for example, I'll give you an example of something that happened very recently.
Right.
Um, uh, this a bit older customer of ours was using Rest Up, right? And
Okay.
Rest Up is a product that they use basically for sleep. Now, with Rest Up, he told us, we actually had a conversation with him. He told us that what happened is that he moved actually from having pills, sleeping pills, to having Rest Up. Now, that was first of all a very good thing for us, right? Because we sleeping pills can be habit forming, and none of our ingredients are habit forming,
Right.
etc. However, on top of that, what he was saying was that, my supply got over yesterday and I did not plan for it. Is there a way that I could get it quickly? That was the first thing. Second thing was that if I don't get it, then I'll have to go back to the pill tonight, and that's something I really don't want to do. So, it was solving for a problem not only of uh, that impulse purchase, but also somebody who's been using the product, understands its benefits, and hence does not want to go back to the older methods,
Right.
right? And like needs the product now, because a lot of times, right, like it happens with me also. I forget to order my supply so many times, and like I am a very active user of quick commerce, so I always have like all platforms ready for me to kind of get my last minute supplies. So. So I think quick commerce as a whole for supplements as well is a very key category. I think for all of us, all D2C brands for that matter. And yeah, like it's going to be a focus for us in 2025.
So are you live on some of these platforms right now? Like somebody is watching the episode and they want to go ahead and
Yeah.
buy. So which platforms you are live right now?
So Swiggy, Instamart, and Zepto for sure. And then you can obviously buy us from our website or Amazon, Nykaa, Tata, and MG.
Great, great, great. And one thing I also want to touch base on कि this supplement is something जो आपको essential है, मतलब throughout you have to take it. So is subscription something that also you're planning to bring कि if you take a subscription, maybe going forward you'll have your supplies stacked with you? Or is this something that you are also working on?
Yeah, so see, the expiry of our product is 2 years. So what we do is we actually sell 90 and 60-day pack as well. So
Okay,
that you can actually just go ahead and purchase a longer period, because in any case 2 years is a long enough time for you to consume it. I think subscription specifically we are not moving towards, rather we are keeping larger pack sizes, and this is a bit data driven decision. Like subscription businesses take a bit more in India to pick up,
right,
and hence
right. And
yeah,
plus, हाँ, people have fear of committing कि इतना per month मैं क्यों दूँ?
yeah,
Value
yeah,
is not,
yeah,
but they question value each time they are paying you a subscription fee.
correct.
Talk about your 2025 plans. You also talked during the episode that you will convert this into a full stack, maybe fitness company. So, uske kya plans hai? What are some of the things you're doing in that direction?
Yeah, yeah. So first thing about 2025 is that we actually onboarded a co-founder. So his name is Raghav, and like the good thing about even Shark Tank, right, is that you get the right exposure, you get the right yeah, I mean, I would say exposure to actually attract the right kind of talent as well.
Right,
So,
right.
one thing that has happened is that Raghav has come on board, and like that's like one thing that I was very actively actually. Anupam asked me, and this was not shown, that would you be up for getting a co-founder? And I was like, yes, I'm actively looking, and it ultimately happened. So that's one. The second for 2025, see, right now what we are trying to do is we are trying to go deeper into the patches market altogether, trying to
Right.
understand that what are some of the other use cases. For example, we are coming up with a product for diabetes patients as well.
Hmm.
Right? So people who basically are struggling with it and want natural methods of controlling their sugar. So the product is going to be called Sugar Down. Then we are coming up with a product that's for PCOS, women who struggle with PCOS. Personally, I am
Right.
also somebody who's in that cohort. So I am really personally looking forward to that product. Then we are also coming up with Hair Up, which is for your hair. So hair
Right.
thinning, hair falling, etc. So I would say new product line is something that like 2025 basically a lot of it will be about. So
Got
going
it.
deeper into the patches market, yeah.
So, how do you identify this? Because this is quite exciting. Because each of these problem statement is from a completely different category. Like my dad is a diabetic, तो उनके अपने challenges होते हैं. Then there is a friend who is going through balding phase, तो उसके अपने challenges. But how you identify market sizing is something that you look into, or this is something basis customer interaction. You identify the categories.
It's both. I think the first starting point is customer interaction.
Mhm.
The number of queries that we have gotten, and especially these, these specific use cases, it was innumerable, and that's why we were like, okay, you know what, like it just makes sense to go into it. But then it also needs to make sense from a business perspective, right? Because we are a
Right.
small team and we want to be able to focus on the right product. So,
Right.
hence, there's a lot of data that is collected with respect to where do people in general need more supplementation, what are some of the key deficiencies that are there in the Indian market,
Right.
then looking into how our competitors are also doing, right, when it comes to different categories, etc. So there's quite extensive research that goes into which categories to enter. One technical one also is that we can't even have patches for all supplements.
Right.
So
Right.
one thing also is that, for example, you can't put probiotics in a patch.
Hmm.
It's not possible. So there's also discussion around which are the ingredients and use cases that we should go after.
Got it. And how was the day when, can you walk me through the day when the episode was aired? So, were you watching it at home, Shark Tank India episode, or with family and friends, or you did a screening? Because I met a fellow startup from yours batch only. They told me we did a screening at WeWork only.
Yeah, no, we actually had a very big screening with like over 150 people coming in. Friends, families, family members, even some like key opinion leaders. Like we had a few nutritionists, doctors who we have been in touch with, our mentors. So many people ended up joining. So we had like a cohort of 150 people coming in. And it was an amazing time, to be honest. Like, because I mean, I was also swinging it for the first time, right?
Right.
so, a very, very good moment for us. It came out on my mom's birthday. So that
Oh,
was even an added
it was a nice gift from your side to her.
yeah, cherry on the top.
And I have seen your page, so I see you also talking a lot about your product on Instagram. So do you feel that founders at some point have to become influencers as well if they want to take their brand forward? Or is it vice versa that you can take a back seat and let influencers do their work?
See, I mean, I don't think we necessarily have to become influencers. I would say that, we are at the end of the day the people who are looking into this, the brand and the company every single day,
Right,
right? As a result, we build a certain level of knowledge as well, right? So I think that is what has been my focus personally, which is to share, why I feel that the product makes sense, right? And
right,
that is coming purely from the perspective of me having gained that knowledge, having been working on this for a while, right?
right,
So I feel that more than anything, founders generally end up sharing the knowledge that they have, and that is what people also resonate with, right? Because they want to hear from the person who's building it as to why
right,
should we consume it, and like what are some of the nuances of the product. So I wouldn't say it's not necessarily about becoming an influencer. I think it's more about key opinion leaders, right?
right.
Like sharing your opinion about a certain thing.
I think you have to put yourself out there because
Yeah.
if you build a decent credential with your follower base, chances are high that it will have a trickle down effect on your brand. I have final two set of questions. So one question, I'm also working professional. How did you evaluate कि now this is the right time अब मेरे को job छोड़ के startup करनी चाहिए? What was the decision framework there?
See, I was a consultant in Dubai when I left my job and I was up for promotion to manager.
Mm.
Um, the thing is, for me personally, this has never been an option. It was just a matter of when.
Right,
Um, to The opportunity cost was immense.
right,
It was a very, very big paycheck that I was leaving on the table, but at the same time, I I I do not see myself doing any like people who know me know that I love to build. I l- I love to wake up in an unorganized place and to organize it when it comes to work. Life is something that I leave separate, but when it comes to work, and I love to start things from the scratch. So for me, when I took the decision, it was just about when can I do it and like how
right,
soon can I do it rather than later. I did decide to do an MBA, did decide to do a job for a bit because I come from a service family, right? Like I did not have a lot of dollars to fall back on. So I did want to build my own corpus, like build my own savings to be able to actually do it in a manner that I would not feel pressure. कि ठीक है, this month we did not make money. Should I stop doing this? No, this is not an
right,
option. For me, it is that okay, like I need to be comfortable enough that I can build for many years till I actually see some return and I'm comfortable with that. So
right.
this is a very for me it was an obvious decision. But this paycheck never really, you know, uh, made me feel like oh should I second guess it. Basically, it never made me feel second guess it. Yeah,
नहीं नहीं आई थिंक इट्स वेरी राइट कि फाइनेंशियल्स जो आपके फाइनेंसेस है उनको पहले फिक्स करके रख लो सो दैट यू
correct.
हैव
That
सम
too, I
रनवे
100% agree. It's not
राइट
easy being a founder, right? Like because you're not earning anything. I still don't earn anything. so
हाँ प्लस
yeah.
आई थिंक देयर इज ऑलवेज अ इन्वेस्टर प्रेशर आल्सो ना कि इतनी सैलरी क्यों ले रहे हो सो अगेन यू हैव टू पुट दैट क्वेश्चन आउट देयर final what are two or three tips that you'd like to share with someone who is applying to Shark Tank India maybe for season 5 how they should go ahead with their application.
Yeah. One thing is, I would say come out as your authentic self. I
Right,
think that goes a long way in also, the people who are evaluating you to understand who you are, right? Because for them also, it's a big step. They're choosing among lakhs of applicants,
right,
180 people that they want to, have on the episode. So bring out your authentic self is something that I would definitely say. Second thing is that there's no right or wrong time for it, right? Like I've seen brands go in very early, go in very late.
right,
If you feel that, the sharks and the entire experience can add value to you and your company, then just go for it. Right? Don't keep second guessing that whether I should be doing this or not.
Right.
Um, third, carry a jacket.
Nee, I think that is very important. Carry a jacket, नहीं तो you will shiver and people will feel that you are underconfident while delivering. So much, Radhika, for taking out time. It was great interacting with you.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks a lot for having me over.
Sure, sure.